girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And a real quick housekeeping note, if you're watching us on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever podcast platform you utilize, please hit that follow and subscribe button as well. So we can continue to bring you conversations like the one I'm bringing you today. We are in flight with the guys from Sierra Pilot. What's up?
Yeah, I like that a lot too. Dang.
We're literally moving cross country right now. How's the cabin pressure in that thing?
Right.
Completely accurate, sure is.
Right now we're right above a giant marsh. Yes, on a highway. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, this country's wild, man.
Yeah, we're loving it though.
We're loving it. We're in the
Awesome.
Missouri right now. Missouri, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we I just saw you guys when you were in town in Cleveland, and enjoyed the show. We got some bad weather here now, so good thing you got out of here in time. But before I get into all that with you guys, I like to do a quick background. So let me ask, originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Paleontologist. It's such a dorky answer, but I loved Jurassic Park, man. I was like super into it.
I wanted to be an athlete, you know? I think that's like every kid's dream until you realize you suck, and then you're just like, yeah, well, maybe I'll pick up a guitar.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then when was it for you that and who were some of the early influences that caught your ear and directed you towards music?
I mean, I really love my. I'm a huge Nickelback fan, but Bullet for My Valentine would be a big one for me. I really like a lot of the '90s stuff, a lot of the grunge stuff, in specific, Nirvana, Soundgarden. I love Nine Inch Nails. Those are probably my big ones.
I'm a little bit older, so I got a little bit of a older taste, and I mean, my main influence was probably my dad and my mom, because they were musicians as well. So I kind of got my whole musical start from them playing and then them showing me stuff. I grew up on stuff like Hendrix and Clapton and Beatles and all that old school stuff, all that good stuff. But when I hit my teenager ages, I was probably into like the heavier Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth. I kind of went down that realm, and that's pretty much where I got influenced. Most of my creative stuff comes through that kind of world, that 80s metal, that kind of break off from the hard rock to metal era there.
Nice. And then when was it that you guys decided to start playing yourselves?
I started playing at 13, just
same.
Yeah, kind of having buddies that were playing, and I didn't fit in very well at the school. I was at a Catholic school, so that obviously just didn't fit great for me. But so yeah, I kind of found some other guys outside of my school zone that were into the music scene, and just started from there for me.
Yeah, I used to be pretty big into sports. I was playing pretty competitive baseball, so up until I was 13, and I actually I was a pitcher, and I at 13 severed my rotator cuff. So I needed to. Guitar was ironically the best thing best backup plan ever.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Nice, nice. And then what was like the music scene like, growing up in your hometown?
Terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has its perks. I mean, there's I'm born and raised in Waterloo, Ontario, and there's definitely a scene. When I was coming up, it was thriving at the time, but there's still the occasional venues there that are holding it down, but it's nothing like down here, man. We love it down here.
I grew up in the 90s, so I was kind of around for the big bang of music there when there was Nirvana and all that grunge era was kicking off and all that. So it definitely was around the time when music was pinnacle in societal youth kind of movements. But yeah, being from Canada, you don't have as much opportunities to see acts, or you don't have as much opportunities to find people that are wanting to play like seriously as you would here. So there's a little more scarce back home for sure. So we love coming here.
It's very spread out.
Yeah.
Nice. And when you guys did start, finding like-minded individuals to play with, what was it like trying to get out and play locally? There were opportunities there, though?
I mean, you lose a lot of money in Canada if you want to be an artist because of the vast land that you have to travel to get to places that are even playable for, the possibilities for bands, especially like central Canada when you're coming through that Toronto to moving up to like Manitoba stuff. That's a huge open wasteland, right? So there's no shows going on through that section very often, maybe 2 or 3 that you're going to get out of a 1,500, 1,700 kilometers, or I should say 1,200 miles, 1,300 miles. So there wasn't a lot of opportunities in Canada. You had to know all the right people, usually.
Yeah.
And if you did, then you definitely had an opportunity. But it was very difficult back then, for sure. But even today, I think it's still hard in Canada. It's still difficult to go tour it because of how large it is and how small amount of bands, a lot of bands are skipping Canada today, right?
So was it mostly like house shows and stuff for you guys starting out?
Yeah, small clubs. You're playing in front of 50 to 100 kids a day.
Dive bars.
Yeah, dive bars and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It's the one other thing with Canada is we don't have a lot of mid-sized venues, so you don't have a lot of 3,500, 4,500 cap kind of things. It's either like 500 people or 5,000 to 7,000 people kind of thing, right? So those mid-level places are very few and far between down there.
Up there,
yeah.
And then when did like Sierra Pilot come together for you guys?
Sierra Pilot.
Where did the name come from?
When did it come?
When did it come together? Well, I've been at this project for about 8 years, and these guys. So Jay's been with me for about 2 years now, over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And Wes has been with me. Our drummer has been with us for almost 2 now. And Dave's our newest guy. Hi, Dave.
What's up, Dave?
He's been with us for about 6 months now, and he's killing it. It took a while for me to find the right guys, the like-minded guys, and it's really come together just within the last 2 years, I would say. Yeah.
And yeah, you already kind of were leaning towards that, but where did the name come from?
Where did the name come from? Okay, so I grew up hiking the Sierra Nevadas with my dad in Northern California, and I grew up with severe asthma, and so I always had a really hard time breathing, and I actually, when I go to the mountains, you'd think the thin air would mess with me a little bit, but I could actually breathe better because it was so clean and so just clean, and it's my favorite place in the world. And I actually wrote some of the early Sierra Pilot stuff in the mountains, in the Sierra, so it only seemed fitting. And then the Pilot, I don't know, man, it sounded good to me. Led Zeppelin's Take It, and it.
Gotcha. Well then, I want to ask about like, I was at the gym earlier today trying to get, a workout in, and I threw you guys music on, to get ready for this interview and stuff. And then, Horizons kicks on. I'm like, all right, get ready to go. Let's talk a little bit about the inspiration for that. That's the latest single right now, right?
That is the latest single, yeah. I mean, the inspiration honestly was probably
Trying to write a song.
trying to write a song for this tour, It was, we were like, oh my God, we're going on the road with Bad Wolves and Paw People. They're heavy.
Not to mention Oni as well.
And not to mention Oni as well. And, so we were
kind
just
of
like,
fun rock.
yeah, we're a Southern rock outfit kind of vibe, right? So we were like, let's push something a little more metal-esque. And, so we started digging through Jay's old riffs on his phone in my basement, and
started trying to mold our styles together, like that was the one thing that we really wanted to do, is kind of bring a heavier sound to Sierra Pilot, but kind of stick true to the roots that Taylor had already planted for the group. And the fact that we've been together for a couple of years now, we've kind of started to naturally graduate into writing stuff together a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was like one of the ideas was, we have my heavier style and Taylor's more pop style that he has a great ideas for, and trying to mold those two things together and giving them a little bit of new life for what we're doing, right? But still keep it the original style that T was kind of rolling around with when he started.
Nailed it.
Well, yeah, you guys were killing it, man. I was actually working the venue that night for your guys' show in Cleveland, and I was on Dave's side of the stage, and great addition to the band. You guys look good up there, and it sounded great, man. What's the tour been like so far with going out with Bad Wolves and Pop Evil?
Dude, we couldn't be more thankful at the acceptance and the welcome that we feel through these camps. Pop Evil we were on tour with in the spring, and we had such a good tour with them that they actually invited us back for this one. And those guys are like, our American family to us now, right? And Bad Wolves
coming up quick,
super nice and great dudes, and Oni also. We've really lucked out on this camp. All these camps coming together and coexisting together very well.
The tour could not be hitting on more cylinders and going better, and having everyone in such a positive vibe. It's been an incredible experience for us, for sure.
Yeah, Oni was incredible too, man. That was my first time catching them live.
They bring Sledgehammer at the beginning of your show, and couldn't be nicer dudes.
So how would you compare this tour to, I read you guys were out on the road too with Skid Row and Buckcherry. How would you compare and contrast the two tours?
On that one.
We were very spoiled on that.
That was a wild time. And again, luck of the hat. Some of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life, Skid Row and Buckcherry and their crews.
Yeah.
They took care of us so well on that tour, and supported every part of it and taught us a lot. That was our first major tour together as a group.
Yeah.
We had done some little touring before that, but that was our first major tour across the country kind of vibe together. And they were extremely helpful. We still keep in contact with them to this day all the time. Rob, their drummers, their crew and stuff, and they all want to come out to shows whenever we're coming through their towns and stuff. So very lucky.
Awesome. And then I was going through the discography, like I said earlier, and stuff, and enjoying the work. How's Karma been treating you guys?
Karma's been good. It's been a good 2024.
It's been good karma.
Yes, sir.
And then what was I'm curious about the song Tell Me About Mouthful.
That's
Yeah, I mean, I won't go into super big detail about it, but it's let's just say it's about I was in a very specific time in my life, and I just had somebody talking behind my back about some stuff, and it's just an angsty screw you. I don't care if I offend you. I am who I am, and if you don't accept that, well, kick rocks.
One of our favorites to play though too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was digging it. I felt
we
the
love
angst.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask about another one that I was really moved by and enjoyed was Phantom Pains. You want to share like the message behind that song?
Yeah, that one's a super deep one for me. I was so I'm 15 months sober now. But at the time I wrote that, I was really struggling with, okay, do I make the leap, or I was relapsing and kept drinking and all that fun stuff that comes with recovery. And yeah, it was just about the panic of that you feel when you're starting to miss that thing that's become a part of you. You're really starting to feel that phantom limb. It's like your addiction could be like like an arm to you, or a crutch, and you're even though that's not there anymore, you still feel it. And I tried to write it in a way that even if people can't relate to addiction, they can relate to a past loved one, or a breakup, or
Lost love.
yeah, I mean, in one way or another, the song's about mourning.
Yeah, and I definitely felt it when I was listening to it earlier, and I'm 15 years sober right now myself, so I guess that's the other connection that I was feeling in that, man. So congratulations. I actually do some Zoom meetings with some Canadian musicians and stuff, so there's more brothers out there, eh?
Yeah, appreciate it.
But yeah, man, I love getting into the real and raw stuff, man, because it's like, I look back at, still, even 15 years later, dude, there's sometimes I'd like catch myself trying to go to shows or whatever, and it's just like, I get that anxiety starts rising up, and I can't reach for my social lubricant or anything anymore. I just got to feel the feels and process and get through it, man. And this podcast has been part of my healing journey to help me with that, So glad to have you guys on board for this therapy session with me today.
Glad to be here, man.
And then I wanted to also ask about your other single, Turpentine.
Turpentine. That's kind of the same realm, man. It's it's a love song to, drugs for me, or like my drug of choice, and just it's a love affair that's wrong, makes you feel dirty, but you love it, and you're like, yeah, it's about the push and pull. And again, but it's written in a way where I've personified it, and it can be related to a relationship. Yeah, that was a really fun one to write. It was one that just kind of wrote itself too.
It's one of the first solos I ever wrote for this.
One of the first solos he ever did, and yeah, love playing that song live. Everyone gets into that one.
Hell yeah.
And,
Yeah, for sure. And then we went back and we talked about the different time in your life when you were writing Mouthful, and now the life events of working through addiction, and the songs you're writing now. And these guys are fairly 2 years in, I think you were saying, now with the project. How has the creative process changed for you with the new members?
Well, I've always had the co-writing mentality, and Jay's a phenomenal writer, and Wes is starting to come in on some stuff as well, and it's actually been a very easy transition. It's been a very easy transition.
I think one of the fun things for both of us is trying to pull our styles together too. You know, it's challenging.
Yeah, there's a challenge to it, but there's also like an ease to it as
Yeah.
well. Like it's
fresh for us.
Yeah.
It's
there's an
All right, good to have you back.
right.
And then, you know, what track has been like one of your? You mentioned a couple, but like so far, like what's been your favorite track to play live on this tour?
On this tour, okay, we are playing 2 unreleased ones that are crushing every night. So we have our next single. We don't have a release date for it yet, but Breathe has been super fun to play live. It's been really well received, and so keep an eye out for that one. And Animals, which is one we wrote 2 weeks before coming on the road. And
We've kind of
Nice.
tested it
we've just been testing it out and
live on.
yeah, and just kind of refining it on the road, and it's
Seems to be
working really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those 2 are probably our favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if sadistically, I also like to play Hollow to see our drummer suffer. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's a very difficult.
That's a pretty aggressive.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun to see him let it all go at the end every day.
He was killing it up there. He's keeping them busy.
Animal.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Animal.
Now, going back to the venue at Cleveland, what were you guys' thoughts there? Did you did you get to check it out? It's like there's a lot of history in that building.
We didn't get much time to get too much into the history. If you happen to share, we'd love to know it, though.
Yeah. I mean, we heard
Well,
it was a Freemason temple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Masonic auditorium and stuff, and
Right.
supposedly, it's haunted. I just started working there, so I'm supposed to get a tour here, a private tour eventually. But
That's
yeah, I've been through some of the rooms, and a lot of there's a vibe there, man. But I thought what they've done with the sound and the lights and everything they brought in there, man, it's like a legit,
it was a
venue.
wicked venue.
Huge
Super
sound.
cool venue.
Yeah, mega sound.
Sounded
Probably the
amazing
loudest
in
of
the room.
Yes, loudest of the tour, but still clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was great, man. And everybody sounded good, so it was a good time. What goals do you guys have now when this tour wraps up going forward?
I mean, we're still looking at our 2025. We definitely want to be back here. Hopefully, do the West Coast if we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, Texas.
Texas.
We want to get
we
down
want
to Texas. Yeah.
But we are mostly gonna, as soon as we're home, start writing. That's our biggest thing, and
I think another thing we're learning too while we're out here is how to build our show even a little bit more. Some of these bands are helping us.
we want to level that
We
up.
want to level up the visual of the show, the entertainment value of our show. So we're taking a lot of advice from guys from Bad Wolves, and especially Bob Evil, who've been really out of the park, amazing with us, teaching us all these little tricks and things like that. So I think that's another focus. Is we want to really up the entertainment value of our show. So not only are you seeing a great band, but you're going to see a great show every night.
Yeah, well, Doc from Bad Wolves is a good dude, man. I definitely pick his brain. He's been at every level. I used to see him in like God Forbid and some of the old hardcore acts he was in.
I grew up with that, man. I he's one of my idols for sure. I've always loved Doc. I think he's one of the best guitar players in the scene too. He's so fantastic. But yeah, he's just he's full of information and full of, because he's done it all himself, right? So
Yeah.
he really is someone that I'm trying to soak up as much as I can from. Every day we're all trying to with all those guys, right?
Nice. Well, before we get ready to wrap up, man, I want to ask you a couple questions I normally ask my guests that I have on here. You talked about some of your early influences, but who would you say are your top 3 musical artists you're into today?
Right now, for me.
Continue on to State Route 13 South.
Thank you, GPS.
Sorry, it's Johnny.
Shout out to the GPS.
Shout out to Johnny, the GPS.
For me, I mean, I love Big Wreck, Canadian Boys, and Ian Thornley is just a phenomenal guitar player, phenomenal singer. Um, I love a lot, man. Like there's a lot going on. Another awesome Canadian band would be Royal Tusk.
Ooh,
that we love.
ruthless and good.
And you know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to our homeboys, the Jailbirds.
Yeah.
Back in Canada, they're amazing. And watching Mike play guitar live, it makes me embarrassed that I even picked guitars up. You know, like just unreal. So I'll say that for my current influences.
Man, I wish I could tell you I have a whole bunch of new style band influences, but I'm just kind of, stuck in my old ways of the stuff I listen to. So I kind of take inspiration more from the guys that I'm playing with. So right now I'm taking inspiration from T, and I take inspiration from some of the other guys I play with in other groups and stuff too. So I think one of the things for me is like I like to challenge myself, but when I listen to music, I like to feel comfortable, if that makes sense. So I don't branch out until someone shows me something, usually now these days. But yeah, so my influences are usually around the guys I'm working with and stuff like that.
Gotcha. And then, who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Oh, that's easy.
My parents, that counts as 2.
Does that count as 2? Yeah, or is that just 1? Because definitely on my list too.
I mean, you could combine them if you want, but
Nah, I'll combine them just so it's not a cheesy answer. But I would say, yeah, one of my best friends too, a hardworking dude, one of the greatest dudes in the industry. His name's Taylor Bingley. He's been my mentor for over a decade and my biggest supporter since I was kind of starting the touring world and stuff. And he currently is doing he's tour managing for Gojira right now. So he's been in the game for a very, very long time. And anytime I have a stupid question or an important question or just a ridiculous question, he's the guy I go to. So he's probably my biggest 2-day motivator. And then I would probably say my one of my other buddies who's always supported me. His name's Tyler. He's been one of the best dudes I've had in my life, and kind of always been there for me and pushing my boundaries as a musician. I played with him for a long time and kind of not outgrew him, but got to a point where I was going to a whole other section, and he always was my cheerleader. So definitely those 3 for sure for me.
Dang. Okay. No pressure, Taylor. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say my parents, but I'm gonna separate them because they influenced me in 2 very different ways. But like in a way that I can't really put into words. Like my dad gave me his patience and his calm demeanor, and my mom taught me not to take any shit at the same time. Right. So, and then I'm just going to say, and this is also another cheesy answer, but my fiance is, she always, smacks me over the head when I'm doing anything dumb, and or if I ever start doubting myself, and she keeps my eyes on the prize, and she does nothing but love and support me while I'm out on the road for a month. And, yeah. I know that's cheesy, but I'm a cheese ball.
No, man, it's good stuff. You want a warm bed when you get home, not the couch.
That's it. Exactly.
And then, are there any causes or organizations that you guys support and encourage others to check out?
All of the good ones. Sorry, that's a terrible answer.
I had a very large experience in the neonatal intensive care unit when my son was born. We had a really difficult time with him when he was being born. So I have a very hard connection to the Grand River Hospital in Kitchener, and the NICU there and the nurses there. And, that's something we try not to forget every day and everything. Me and my wife were in there for Thanksgiving. We spent Thanksgiving in there. We had actually T and his family supporting us while we were in there at the time. And my own family, obviously, as well, and some friends. But we were lucky enough to have a great support around us. And we try to do something for them every year at Thanksgiving to give back. And we're very, very, very lucky. My kid's in great health now, so very positive, but I'm a big supporter of the Grand River Hospital NICU section.
Awesome, man. Glad to hear. And then favorite toy as a child.
Shit. I had.
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, I had the Krang super ship from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that was probably my big one back in the day. I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles guy, so I got insane amount of TMNT toys. But that was like the pinnacle back then.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's
the
a good
Krang
one.
ship.
I was like super into Nerf guns. I had like almost every single Nerf gun. And then you know those like electric like cars or like the like the art but like you rode them.
Oh, like the
Those
kid.
guys? Yeah. So I had like an ATV and like you could like rev the engine. Yeah. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, dude. I rode that thing until I was like 10.
I love it.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
That thing took to use.
It got back on when you were 28.
Oh, I tried. Yeah. My knees don't fit.
Yeah, the knees don't go back there.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, man, I really appreciate your time, man. It was good.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
And for any of the fans out there that are new to hearing about you and want to support you along the way, where would you send them?
Instagram,
Come to a
Facebook,
show.
come to a show.
Buy some merch.
Yeah.
Buy me a drink.
You can check us out at crpilotmusic.com for any of our tour dates and any of our links. I don't know why I quoted that, but links.
Awesome, man. Hey, well, thanks again for your time, man. And
Thank you.
you know, congratulations on your sobriety, and wish you guys success in 2025, man. Hope you come back through Cleveland. Love to see you.
Thank you,
again.
brother.
We'll be back. Yeah.
We'll be back.
Thank you for having us, man, and checking it out.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Take care, man.